Iceland welcomes visitors with an almost old-fashioned courtesy. Hospitality as cold as its mountains, but as steadfast as its character. However, after years of waves of clueless travelers, many locals no longer have the patience for the same repeated mistakes. And the funny thing is that anyone can make them, even without realizing it. That's why it's important to understand what you should never do in these lands if you want to maintain the respect of those who live here, especially the women who observe more than they say. The most common mistake occurs on lonely roads, stopping in the middle of the road. The beauty of the landscape is seductive, yes, but Icelandic roads are narrow, full of blind curves where a stopped car can become a real problem. The locals know this. They experience it every morning on their way to work. The solution is as simple as it is disciplined. Find a safe shoulder, walk a little, accept that not every precious moment is worth putting those behind you at risk. That quiet discretion, by the way, is always appreciated and speaks louder than any forced smile.
There is another gesture that, although it may seem minor, angers anyone who calls this island home, turning nature into a makeshift bathroom. It's not just a matter of hygiene. Much of Iceland is private land, cared for with the same zeal with which families are cared for here. Using these spaces as if they had no owner is disrespectful and leaves marks, and not just on the ground. The alternative is obvious. Stations, cafes, public restrooms. In a place where water falls from the sky purer than almost anywhere else, the least we can do is keep the rest just as clean.
Even inside homes, there is a kind of moral order. No one enters with muddy shoes. It is an unwritten rule, almost an ancestral custom. Those who have lived here know this, and women in particular enforce it without raising their voices. If you stay in an Airbnb or a guest house, leaving your boots at the entrance is not protocol, it is respect. And if you need something to walk around in, slippers are enough to remind your host that you understand local courtesy. Driving too slowly also becomes a problem. The roads are narrow, overtaking is difficult, and those who live here cannot always afford the calmness of a tourist who stops to look at every snow-covered hill. The etiquette is simple. A glance in the mirror, a signal with the right turn signal, and let them pass. That discreet, almost elegant gesture opens more doors than any words. Iceland prides itself on being one of the cleanest places on the planet. Here, a piece of litter stands out like a scream in the middle of silence. The same goes for cigarette butts. Small oversights that break the purity of a landscape that seems out of this world. Keeping it intact is almost a moral pact, a silent pact, yes, but everyone knows who respects it and who doesn't.
Even the tap water deserves a mention. Crystal clear, cold, purer than many bottled brands. Buying plastic here makes no sense. A reusable bottle is enough, and it can be refilled at almost any stream that does not cross inhabited land. It is a custom that Icelanders view with pride and with a certain satisfaction when they see a visitor understand it. Camping wherever you want may seem tempting, but it is illegal in most parts of the country. Private land, summer homes, fields, everything has an owner and tradition. Designated campsites are plentiful and beautiful, and if you want to hike, fly a drone, or take pictures near rural homes, the right thing to do is ask for permission. Here, a simple "would you mind if" opens all doors, sometimes even more than you were looking for. Off-road driving is a serious offense. You don't have to be caught in the act. A simple photograph is enough to get you fined. And it makes sense. Each footprint on the volcanic moss can take decades to disappear. There are designated routes for those who want adventure. Just use the right ones and with the right vehicles. And finally, the signs. No drones, no trespassing, 4x4 only. In Iceland, if someone has taken the trouble to put up a sign, there is usually a good reason. Ignoring it not only damages the landscape, it also damages the patience of those who protect it. If you understand these unwritten rules, you are already several steps ahead of those who arrive here without looking beyond the landscape. Iceland is not complicated. It only requires a mixture of prudence, respect, and silence. And, as always, those who truly know it, especially women, notice this right away.